What made you want to get into game design?
What made me want to get into game design? Auras, which is the game that I'm currently designing, was actually a thought that I had some 20 years ago. We were sitting down at 3rd edition age, right? And I thought I could do a better job with a core system. 3rd edition, maybe 3.5, somewhere in there, was starting to get all of the bloat. And I was looking for a streamlined version that wasn't specifically, back then what we called it, the old throwback stuff. Right now we reference it as the OSR. But I wanted to come up with a model that was just different. So the base idea of auras, which is, how character progression and stats go, we don't use the big 6 stats, right? That came from 20-some years ago. And I had a notebook that I converted to a digital notebook that had the basic ideas, and I had probably 30 pages of notes in it. 20-some years ago, I also was in a very different life position where I didn't have the time or resources to dedicate to producing this game. And publishing 20 years ago was very different than it is today. Publishing 20 years ago, especially as an independent publisher, and Jim, you know this, was not an easy task, right? We still had Lulu, but Lulu was in its infancy, and everything else was you're on your own. There were a lot of guys that were spiral binding stuff in their basement and mailing it out. I just didn't have it, right? The stars weren't aligned then. As I progressed in age and wisdom and moved through the years, I realized I can have an impact and I can bring this idea. Success or fail, I can at least say, hey, I've got this core thing that I did, I made, I contributed to the hobby beyond just my big mouth on Nerdcognito. And so I was actually cleaning off an old hard drive and I found the archive of the scans of that notebook. And I said, holy shit, now might be the time. And here we are, about 6 months into it. Most of the stuff that I had from 20 years ago, I had to burn to the ground because I'm older, wiser now. But the core thought and the core philosophy is still there. So why am I doing it? Because I can and because I want to provide another option. So part of it is ego. Yeah, I have my book. And part of it is there's other ways to play that can still give us the feeling that we have at the table from so many years ago, but not be tethered to the concept. It's not anti-OSR. It's not OSR adjacent, but it's the feeling that we get from playing these things, hopefully coming to fruition in a new system that's easy to learn, easy to pick up, easy to teach, and something that you can enjoy, whether you are just scratching the surface as a gamer or whether you go all the way in deep.